Hi, I'm Vivian the Knitter.
And I'm Alyson the Crocheter, and you're listening to Keep Calm and Carry Yarn.
Thank you so much for joining us for episode 66 of Keep Calm and Carry Yarn, a knitting and crocheting podcast brought to you by me, Vivian, and my daughter, Alyson. I'm coming at you from Virginia.
And I'm recording from Scotland.
Hi, sweetie.
Hi everyone. Thanks for joining us. We sort of skipped our beginning of the month episode, so I hope everyone will forgive us for that, and I hope everyone is well and safe and being, thoughtful in these days and not getting too fatigued by everything.
And hopefully we will, where we are, a good distraction from the outside world.
A good temporary distraction so that you can stay engaged with everything that's going on. But that's all we'll say about that. Special thank yous, to so last time we mentioned Dangerous John, who said hi in Ravelry, but this time he has bought us a coffee on Ko-fi, which is a way for our listeners to support the podcast. It's ko-fi and then /KCACY podcast that you can go to. So Ko-fi coffee. And the idea is that you can support the podcast by just purchasing or donating, giving us money for the price of a cup of coffee. So that's £3. Apologies, it's in pounds because I set up the account. So thank you, John. And then as well, thank you to Sonia, who said hi on Ravelry. And she's a long-term crocheter, but recently got into knitting, gone all to the other side.
And she's also a new customer to Pearl and Plum. So thank you, Sonia, for the orders, plural.
Cool. Right, well, we jump into our Buzzfeed quiz.
Sure. This one is... Oh no, I forgot to save it.
Well, it says, eliminate some Disney movies and we'll reveal what animal you are on the inside. So it's... I was saying to you before that it's a good quiz for me to be doing at the moment because the virtual pub quiz that I've been doing, they've been doing, like, you obviously play the quiz in your teams, but then you get to pick a movie to, like, back each night. And then they do, like, a tournament style eliminations to see, like, which Disney or Pixar movie wins, and it's based off of, like, all the teams' averages and stuff. So we've been having to, like, decide which Pixar movies the last few nights, like, that we want to vote for and stuff. So I think one of the hardest decisions so far has been The Incredibles and Finding Nemo, or maybe Up. The Incredibles and Up, but I went for Up.
Okay, well, that you had to pick or eliminate.
You had to pick. Well, you picked one to back.
Oh. Well, with this quiz, you actually have to eliminate things. So, which is a little different from the traditional Buzzfeed quiz, where you have to pick something that you either like or represents you or something like that. So, the first question was, which classic movie will you eliminate?
And they were princess movies as well: Beauty and the Beast, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, and Cinderella.
And I picked Snow White.
I picked Snow White as well. Also, I just realized normally we do our results first and we're just going through the questions, but we'll just do it this way, but this time just instead. But yeah, I got rid of Snow White as well because I feel like I don't even know that movie very well.
Yeah, well, I got rid of it because it's the scariest Disneyland ride.
But are there even rides for all the other ones?
I don't know. I guess not. But I just remember when it was just the three of you, and Daddy said, "Let's do Snow White first." I'm like, "No, it's not a good idea." But he's like, "No, it's not scary." I'm pretty sure it's kind of scary for little kids. And Jillian totally freaked out, and from then he's like, "Is it gonna be dark? Is it gonna be dark?" Like, so yeah, that was kind of scary. That was a rookie mistake.
Okay, and then what modern Disney movie would you eliminate?
I eliminated Tangled.
Tangled. Oh, I eliminated Frozen because I still haven't seen Frozen. So I feel like we've got a Disney Plus subscription, so there I might like I've been thinking like of ticking off some of the movies that I haven't seen. So I watched Wreck-It Ralph recently because I've never seen that. I want to watch Ratatouille because I've never seen Ratatouille. Maybe eventually I'll get to Frozen. But yeah, if I had to pick, because it was, I would have eliminated either Frozen or Tangled, and then definitely have kept Brave and Moana.
I don't know why I got rid of Tangled because I took a quiz a while ago. I remember now. Because, yeah, and I just didn't like, the idea of the princess waiting in the tower and totally hopeless, waiting, for her prince, and I just didn't like that idea.
Okay, so what about a non-princess movie out of Alice in Wonderland, Tarzan, Lilo and Stitch, and Hercules? Would you get rid of?
Alice in Wonderland.
Me too.
It's the oldest. It's the one I know the least.
Same.
Yeah.
And if I had to pick a favorite, it would probably be Lilo and Stitch, and then Hercules.
Yeah.
I like the music in Hercules.
Which
90s movie would you get rid of?
I got rid of Aladdin.
Aladdin?
Yes.
Oh, I got rid of Toy Story.
Oh. Because you didn't like it?
No, just because if I had, I don't know. The other options were The Lion King and Pocahontas, and I think
love those two movies.
Yeah, I just don't like Toy Story as much as I like the other ones. Maybe.
Because it came out when you were older?
Maybe.
Maybe?
Well, I mean, so the next one is eliminate emotional Disney movie. And you can't, like, they're all relatively new, so it's Finding Dory, Toy Story, Coco, and Up. But I've gotten rid of Toy Story. And that's probably, is Toy Story 3 the oldest one out of those? Older than Up?
I think so, yeah.
So in this case, I've gotten rid of the oldest one. But it did make me cry. All of those movies have made me cry.
They have.
Yeah.
Like Up, you were weeping before.
The beginning montage.
The story even got started.
Yeah, that's probably. I don't think I would have cried later on in the movie, just at the beginning. But which one would you eliminate?
Finding Dory.
Finding Dory. Oh.
It's the one that I know the least, I guess. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I like Coco better than Finding Dory, so I just picked Finding Dory.
I only just watched Coco the last month or so, and then Finding Dory, I watched it maybe not right when it came out, but only once. But it's just when Dory finds her parents, and then they were making the little shell trail so that they could find her, and it was just very emotional, and I cried.
Of course you did.
Right. We don't have to go through them all, but because we haven't actually gotten to it, what did you get? What animal are you based off of?
I am a giraffe.
So am I.
You want to read it then?
Sure. It says, you have a unique way of seeing things in the world. You're someone who is always looking out for other people and making sure they're happy as can be. You love to think outside the box. Those things are kind of like unrelated. Like that last, you love to think outside the box, kind of doesn't really go with the general theme of nurturing and... I don't know, I guess you like have a unique way of seeing.
I don't know how you get that from the movies that you eliminated.
I don't know. Maybe giraffes are actually very nurturing, so that's where that comes from. And then obviously the outside the box and unique perspective is because they have long necks.
And I do not have a long neck.
No, I mean, we don't have long bodies, generally speaking. We are short people. Yeah,
short, stubby things.
I mean, I wasn't gonna say stubby,
but they spelled finally wrong in the last question.
They spelled what?
There. Finally.
Oh.
Unless there's an alternative way of spelling finally I didn't know of.
Cool.
But yeah, that one I picked Dumbo because that's the only movie I didn't watch.
Oh, the remakes or the live action.
The
Yeah, I
live
picked Dumbo too,
action,
just because I haven't seen it. So
yeah. Though the Dumbo section in Disney World is actually very cute.
there's a
It's like a
the
circus
kind of
section.
circusy. Is it like a new section?
Yeah, it's relatively new.
Yeah.
Within the last few years.
Cool.
Okay.
Right. Crafty content?
Content? Sure.
Do you have any whips?
I
mean,
do.
you must have whips.
I have 2 whips. And let's see. My Just Float.
Butter.
I separated for the sleeves.
Very nice.
So
I
can see.
so I'm just I just want to see how the colorful yarn works up in like the main body.
Yeah, so that's why I pulled it out for you to see. So that's what it's looking like. So
But like I can't wait to see how it like all like comes out. Nice.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna like it.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it on or anything. I have to put it on another needle so I can put it over. But
It's a sweater, right? Not like a cardigan.
Yeah, it's a sweater. It is a pullover because a cardigan is a sweater as well.
Yeah, well. You knew what I mean.
This is all Knit Picks yarn, and I actually would be further along, except there's like there's an increased row after the colorwork part. Before you separate the sleeves, and I don't know how I read this wrong, but you're supposed to like knit 40 increase all the way around, and I thought it was knit 20 increase, so that means I had 10 extra stitches. And I went like another 10 rows before I realized that my count was way off, and so I had to pull it all the way back, and yeah, so I was working until midnight last night because I wanted to get it separate, the sleeves separated from the body.
What does it mean when you say separate for the sleeves?
So remember when I was doing the yoke part?
Yeah.
And I was able to, it looked like a circle.
Yeah.
So then when you want to separate for the sleeves, you like, I would knit from, here's the back, right? So you would knit to where the armhole is going to be, and then you put the sleeve stitches on a holder. I put it on scrap yarn.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
And then you cast on a few stitches, and then you continue to do the front, and then you do the same thing for the sleeve on the other side, where you put the sleeve stitches on a holder.
Right. Yeah. So I guess it's different because like obviously if that were crocheted, you wouldn't have to put the stitches on fold on anything. Like you could just,
because you don't have live stitches.
You would just skip them and then
so that's one sweater. Here's the other sweater.
Your cardigan.
This is the Sinister Catdigan, and
which is a cardigan sweater.
This is a cardigan. So I did make a bit of progress with this one. Not too much. I got maybe a couple inches in, but at this point it's just stockinette going back and forth, and that sweater is stockinette going around and around. So
now you got to start a new sweater
at the same point with both sweaters.
Yeah.
So we'll see
how long do you think it takes you roughly to do like the body of a sweater once you finish doing the yoke? Like you personally.
Me personally, a few weeks, because I always put it aside and start doing something else.
That's not that bad.
Yeah, so those are my 2 whips. They're both sweaters, and they're both yoked, colorwork yoked sweaters.
But you're not working on the yoke anymore.
But yeah, I'm done with the yoke.
I was
trying to explain it to Madeline. Yoke. Y-O-K-E, not yolk, like a egg yolk.
Is it?
Like, oh.
Is it? It's the same like word yoke as in like what went on like horses, presumably, because that's like that part of the body.
Yeah.
Because that's always what I think of. Well, specifically, I think of Oregon Trail, maybe. I don't know. That might not be right, but that's what I think.
Child of the 90s.
So I said horses, but in my head I was thinking oxen, because that's what I feel like that's a thing in Oregon Trail, maybe. I don't know. And for anyone who doesn't know, non-Americans, I guess that used to be like a computer game you could play where you had to.
Or you can die of dysentery.
Yeah, it's basically you were like traveling from the east and across the country into the frontier with your covered wagon, and you had to like buy materials and supplies and your wagon and your horses and your ox and your food.
Yeah, you have to hunt for deer too.
And you had to hunt for deer, and there were like 1,000,001 ways you could die. Like you could drown trying to ford a river, and die of dysentery. Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, they now make that's a card game now.
I'd play that. I like card games. Cool. So my whips. The first one is the one that I was working on before. Is my Distant Star shawl, which is in the Crochet Project book 4. I'm on the 3rd and final color.
Yay! That looks so cool.
And it is Tunisian crochet. It's big kite shape. It's, well, I say the 3rd color, but that was like a me choice. You were supposed to use...
Isn't it stripes in the
gradient?
original?
No, gradient yarn, I think. I think the whole idea of the book 4, Crochet Project book 4, was that they were all designed with gradient yarns in mind. Mm-hmm. And then, because book 3 was designed with gradient yarn packs in mind.
Oh, okay.
So like mini skeins, gradients. But whereas this is just like once. Anyway, I bought the yarn at EYF 2 years ago? Last year?
I think it was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe last year. It's Ushita. The one with the red squirrels. I don't know. But I bought it because I really like the colors. So it goes from a dark teal into a variegated cream and brown, and then a goldenrod mustard. The kind of color that Sam absolutely hates. He doesn't like the mustard. Yeah. But I think it's more of like a goldenrod. Yeah, so I'm almost done.
It looks very orangey on the screen that I'm looking at.
It's definitely... It makes me think of in middle school, maybe, in one of the that I went to, or maybe high school. You could get a goldenrod for something. I think it was a good thing. Like, I don't know. Maybe. Like, I feel like you could get, like, written a goldenrod and it meant something, like... Maybe it was a bad thing.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Like, like a slip. Like, you did something good, so you got a goldenrod. I don't know. And it was on, like, a goldenrod colored paper.
I have 4 kids, and you guys went to 4 different middle schools.
Yeah. A lot to keep track of. So I'm almost done-ish. Although, because it's just, like, constantly increasing, it's taking me longer and longer to finish each row. And yeah, so I pretty much have hardly any of the middle color left, but I like used up the yarn pretty well because I had to calculate or decide myself when I wanted to change the yarns and when I wanted to like what's what I'm looking for, introduce them, so it's easier to see.
So you kind of faded.
Yeah, I kind of faded it. So you can see in this section there's the teal and the lighter color.
It looks very black.
It's a very dark color, but it is like a teal. Mm-hmm. And then the other whip that I have is my Christmas Afghan corner to corner. So just as a reminder, because I have it here, these are the blocks I've done. This is a Make and Do Crew on her blog. She's got the pattern. So I've got a Christmas wreath. And I've got
Very
a
cute.
snowflake in very non-snowflake colors, pink and
Never
red.
seen a red
And they're
snowflake
like,
before, but okay.
I think,
What's that?
I'm trying to think how big these are. They're more than a foot, like square. And now, oh, God, my yarn's an absolute mess. This.
It's the dreidel.
It's not a dreidel. It is a reindeer with a dreidel-shaped head. So you can see a bit of, well, the first ear, and the antler.
Antler. Yes.
And the red nose. So
That's
it's actually
cute.
it's Rudolph.
Will it have eyes? You can put googly eyes on it.
No, it's the whole thing. It's very like modern. So it doesn't have eyes. It just has a nose. It's minimal. I actually powered through the first half of the square pretty quickly, and I've put it down and I haven't picked it up in maybe a week because I'm absolutely convinced that I'm going to finish this blanket. I've bought all the yarn. It's behind me. Oh no, it's down there. So I pretty much have all the yarn to make this blanket. Gonna make it. I've got 6 more squares to do, plus like a banner sort of thing at the bottom with words. So I don't know when I'm gonna finish it, but I'm just more and more convinced that I don't really enjoy corner to corner. I don't mind the way it looks, like as a stitch, but the yarn management, it's not difficult, but I'm too lazy to actually like move my yarn or like twist the work in a way that makes sense to keep the yarn untangled. I just kind of go for it, and then when it gets too much, I have to spend like 2 minutes untangling everything, and then repeat, rinse and repeat, and I haven't figured out the best way to work over the yarn the color that you're not using, and I just don't know. Like I know Rosina of Zines and Roger, that podcast, she does a lot of color work. So I could probably do some research and figure out some of these answers. And the answer might also be, there is no perfect way. Like there's always going to be little bits, but I've managed to make a fairly tidy backside. But you can sort of, you can see places where,
that you carried the yarn.
Yeah, the carried yarn is a bit too long. And I've tried to avoid that for the most part, but it's not perfect. So I've got, I think, what else is in the blanket pattern? A mitten, a Christmas tree. What are the things at Christmassy? A mitten, Christmas tree. Oh, there's the Christmas light that's red color that Sam said looked like a bloody tampon. So I'm gonna replace that one with something else.
A different color.
I could make it a different color. Right. So those are my whips.
I don't think it looks like a bloody tampon. I don't think he knows what one looks like.
I think, well, we discussed this when I first was making this blanket. That I think the whole Christmas light motif as like a Christmas light or a Christmas theme is more American than British.
Yeah.
It evidenced firstly by the fact that they call them fairy lights, so I think there's less of an expectation that like these are for Christmas only. But I don't have any FOs.
You don't have? I thought you had an FO.
Maybe I did, but I don't have it with me. I'll talk about it next time.
I have a big FO.
Oh, it'll be your Find Your Fade.
Yes. I've even blocked it. I just have to weave in the end.
Ooh.
And it's really big.
Wow. Well, it looks really nice now blocked. Like, you can really tell. Very large.
Yes, that's right.
And I still maintain that. Even though it's got like the pink sort of side of it, it makes me think of a mermaid.
it makes me think more of unicorn.
Yeah, maybe. I like mermaid.
Okay.
I think because it's all like kind of cool tones.
Yeah, which is what I gravitate towards. So it was, oh, I'm stuck here. It was kind of like magic because you're essentially, I'm all tangled, knitting a V like the whole way because you start on the bottom and you're knitting, you're going like this. You're knitting a row and then it turns up. And then eventually the V part starts skewing, so one side is shorter, the other side is longer.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah.
And then, so I was like, I don't know how. So this side is actually like straight, but it's it was like magic.
Clever.
I couldn't figure out how it was this long side was going to be a straight line. But it turned into a relatively straight line. I didn't pin it or anything. I don't really have anywhere where I have a big enough space to pin. So I just soaked it and then I laid it on the porch outside. Just on the floor without any pins and just kind of mushed it with my hand and that's all I did. So.
And it worked okay?
Yeah, it worked fine. I mean, so I think that's why this is a little bit wavy right here and not a quite, a perfect straight line. But I think if I had pins, it would work better. But I do really love the colors that I picked. I'm very happy with it. And I only have a small ball of pink left because, these rows are pretty long.
Nice.
At the very end.
You finally joined the Find Your Fade club.
I'm finally finished with my fade. And it is big enough to be a blanket. So when I was working on it at knitting, there's one woman that was asking me, I want to see you wear it when it's done. Because she said that she made herself one. It's like, I don't know how to wear it. Like, well, in the picture, it does show that it's rather large. So, has
yours ended up the same size as what the pattern, like the finished pattern?
I didn't actually measure it. But I suppose I could probably block it a little wider.
So is it?
It's not super wide.
Is it like a triangle shaped shawl, or is it a trapezoid?
Yeah, it is triangle.
It's triangle.
It is definitely 3-sided and not 4-sided. So, it's a skewed triangle. So yay! But I didn't. Cool. I didn't start anything new because I didn't know what to start. So I just kept working on my sweaters.
Yeah. Well, maybe next time you'll have one of your sweaters done. Oh no, you still have to do sleeves. Maybe, no. Sorry. I didn't mean to put that pressure on you.
What do you think I am?
Well,
I am not superhuman.
So, did you see we had a YouTube comment on the last video about our Mommypedia?
Yes, and it was the same woman that
you can't pronounce her name one.
Yeah, and she gave us an alternative name.
Yeah, Unplanned Collie.
Oh yeah, okay, that's right.
Yeah. So she said that she'd give you that name so you don't have to pronounce her Polish name.
So I don't have to mangle her name.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So this was about last episode. I asked about like which way you wrap the yarn around the needle when you're knitting, and so she said that knitting counterclockwise and purling clockwise is called combination knitting. And then the rest, I don't know if I really understand. It says, in Western knitting, you work both stitches counterclockwise, and this means the leg close to you is the leading one. In Eastern knitting, you work all stitches clockwise, and this means the leg further from you is the leading one. And then she said that's why you said it'll be twisted.
Because if you work the yarn in front of you, then it'll be, well, after we had spoke about it, I also thought that as long as you're consistent, I think if you always do counter or always do clockwise,
Yeah.
then
For a knit or for a purl. Yeah, because
yeah.
you're saying, so Western is counterclockwise, Eastern is clockwise, and then a combination is if you do one for knit and one for purl.
Yeah, but then you just have to make sure if you don't want your stitches to twist, you have to make sure you work in the back loop.
Yeah, I guess that's the one I didn't understand.
So I mean, the back loop is now the right hand loop.
So in any of these three styles, you work the leading leg. English front leg and back leg is misleading. But anyway, so now I feel like what little I understood of knitting, I was just like, sorry, what?
Well, I think if you're consistent, then you
okay. But the thing is, because it's not just second nature for me. Like with crochet, I can just pick it up and I can do a single crochet, double crochet, which wasn't always the case. Like there was definitely when I was starting out where I'd pick it up and think, I couldn't remember what single crochet and double crochet meant, like how many like if I had to yarn over and if I pull up a loop first or you just pulled it straight through. But like obviously now I know, and with knitting I don't know, so every time I have to sort of like look it up to remind myself. But now because like you were telling me something different than what the booklet was telling me, I was like all confused. So
well, it worked out in the end.
Yeah. And now we've both kind of learned something.
She's been very, very helpful. She's just
I will say like this is sort of our podcast is very much just casual chat between a mom and daughter who just like to knit and crochet, because I think we had a podcast review on Podbean and yeah, the person said something like
wasn't nice.
The lack of knowledge on these two women who claim to be experts or something like
experts on yarn, and I'm like,
it's like we never claimed to be experts. Yeah, like this and like there are lots of podcasts which are, and I think when people think about podcasts, they normally think about podcasts where somebody has done some sort of research and they're talking about something like. It is not the case for this podcast.
No, we've never claimed to be expert. I have claimed to have more knowledge about knitting than you do.
Yes. Hence Mommypedia, I guess. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. We got anything else? Oh, I have to show you. I'm wearing my shirt that I got at
on Fiber. Where'd you get it?
Vogue Knitting.
Very Asian and knitting.
Yeah, and very appropriate to our podcast.
For our audio listeners, it had. What were the different things? There was like...
It has 4 different things. One is, it looks like an ice cream cone, except the ice cream is balls of yarn.
Mm-hmm.
And then sushi, where instead of the fish on top, it's yarn. And a bowl of ramen with, a bowl of
yarn.
And then bubble tea, where the bubbles are little tiny balls of yarn. And they all have little faces. So it's very, what is it called? Kawaii?
Kawaii, yeah.
Yeah. So that's I picked this out just for our podcast. And you can't even see what I'm wearing when I usually say that. Okay.
So in a little bit of, I guess, yarny bits and bobs, I redid my website.
Yeah, I saw that. Very nice.
Yeah, so I posted it on Instagram, like my new logo. I don't know why I did the quotes. It's just my name, Alyson Tree Designs, with a funky E and a funky S. But I have been tinkering around with it for a while, and like the website, my website, I had sort of redone a couple months ago as well, and I just never really said too much about it. Like it's been there, And so now this was like my official, like, yeah, I have actually done something about it. So now at AlysonChew.com, it actually says Alyson Chew Designs. And I keep saying, like, I'm not like a proper designer. I'm just trying to get into it. And both Lisa and Faye on Instagram were like, stop that. You are a designer. You've got a published design. Like, okay. But yeah, so I've been doing lots of that sort of thing while we've been in lockdown, doing the website up and trying to come up with new designs and just, yeah, trying to be legit.
So cool. I'm so proud of you.
And so, I wanted to mention this as well. I mentioned it a few episodes ago about how you could buy KCACY merch, and I've sort of changed it. So before it was on Redbubble, I've changed it to Teespring. So it's it's teespring.com/blah blah blah, but you can get the link if you go to AlysonChew.com and then click on merch. I've got our Keep Calm and Carry Yarn merch there, so tote bags and sticker and a mug. But yeah, I'll put the link on Instagram as well. So you can find the show notes for this episode and every episode on our website, which is kcacypodcast.wordpress.com, and I'll hopefully get a link to our merch on there as well. Our Instagram is KCACY Podcast as well, and you can follow my personal Instagram. It's Alyson here, and my mom's personal Instagram is upstate_Viv. You can like and subscribe and comment and tell us about your latest projects on YouTube, as well as subscribing on iTunes and wherever else you get your podcasts. Join our Ravelry group. Just search for Keep Calm and Carry Yarn podcast in the group tabs. And the spiel feels like it's getting longer and longer every time. Thank you for listening.
And remember to keep calm and carry yarn.